It's time for bookkeeping, beer, and BS.
Here's what I'll say about the different plans and the recruiting and stuff too. We signed up for the annual plan for the pipeline, quite frankly, and also knowing that, we need to hire. Right now, we've got a younger staff. Ideally, we're running 3, probably 4 trucks in another month or so. Once we get everything back from the mechanic shop, it's been just an absolute train wreck as far as vehicles in the past 30 days. But we'll finish June with the biggest month, finish July as the biggest month of the year so far. But I mean, size of business, if you're just running one truck, yeah, doing that seasonal thing's going to make sense. If you're trying to run multiple crews, we went to the Conquer Summit, and Tommy Mello was talking about always top grading, better your best. Just because you've got an okay crew, it's going to be very rare that you have, 5 all-stars on your team. And really, if you find a 6th or 7th all-star, find a spot, build a truck. We got our territory manager in. They went through Indeed, and it's kind of funny because he knew how to answer all the questions. He got rejection emails. He's like, well, you still wanted to meet with me, and we're good. And he's doing awesome self-generating and all that stuff. And but it's great to go through there and have that ability to add those other posts and things. And I'd say just the interaction. Now that we did a Zoom with Denise the other day to kind of get a better idea, because I was I'm kind of lost where people are kind of going through, and we were looking at, I guess, Voyager versus Classic View.
Yep.
Voyager, I was there's open circles, and I have no idea what this person has done or where they're at or what their scores are and stuff. So that's my spiel on that. If you're running multiple crews, just get the annual plan. You will literally waste more time than whatever the $350 or $400 or whatever it is in having a office person just screening through garbage.
I appreciate that.
Say that, and I think you're not, and this is me as Dan the customer, because I don't do my recruiting for any of my stuff. I use Sean's team to do it all, obviously. But you're not paying for somebody to run a bunch of ads for you. You're paying for the person that's thinking about it, doing the research, doing the filtering, doing the first follow-ups, and letting you know when something happened. And You could have an office manager do it for sure. But they don't do it all day, and then they have to learn another system and all the things. There's just no way you could do it for the efficiency and the cost. You wouldn't be able to do it every day and all the stuff that Sean's team does. And I think you can't do it any different than you do sales and marketing. If there's an A player out there and they apply, you have to get to them that day. Yep. And I sure as hell know that I was bookkeeping until 6:00 tonight, on the phone with QuickBooks. There's no way I'm gonna get back. I had 2 bookkeeping applicants come through this week that I never even thought to go look in CareerPlug to see if I got more applicants, but just boom, somebody reached out to them, applicant reached out to me, interview set up. And you just can't, I would have lost both of them. There's no way I would have had the mental break to go okay, oh yeah, I need to go check that and get back to people and do the back and forth. So I think just having somebody that's all they do and they're on it and you trust the process.
So let me ask the question, younger or old people, what's worked better for us? I don't know if I'm freezing now. I'm trying to keep.
No, you're good now, Rob.
Okay. Last year we kind of had a mix. Most of the guys were in the 23 to 35 range, which I think is kind of the niche. That way you need them to be really over 18. We had one that was a fellow BNI or Chamber of Commerce guy. Said, hey, here's my son. He had some decent resume stuff. Find out he's 17, so he can't drive the trucks. He's okay. He referred a friend who I probably would not have given the opportunity otherwise, and then found out on Monday he was literally sleeping in one of the trucks on a job site because they were waiting for water. And he's like, oh, no, I was just I was just in there, and then the guys were up on the roof, and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, it was only 10 minutes, and it's dude. it's always going to be a maturity. Right now I have 3 guys working for me that I will lose in the month of August because they're going to college. One's going to Virginia Tech. One's going to something up in New Jersey, Philly area, and I think the other guy's going into the Air Force. The bright side of that is because of Corona, they'll probably be back in time for Christmas light season. Long term, the guys that I interviewed this past week are ones that I could use further and beyond, which is what we really need. We need to build that staff of grown-ass men or women. Candace, don't hate me. I will take whatever. If you show up, work hard, I really don't care about the rest of it. So that it's always, like you said, Jeremy, it's going to be somebody's maturity, how they're raised, and their mentality.
It's funny you say that, because you can have a guy in his 40s that like is immature and can't handle it, and then you can have a guy like your 14-year-old that's just a boss.
Oh,
it's not an age thing.
It's not.
There's people that suck in all generations. It's not an age thing. Just some people know how to work and some people don't, and it's not a generational thing. There's just a lot of shitty people out there that you got to weed through before you find some good, hardworking people.
All right, so we've got like 20 plus people on here, and we'll probably end up with 500 views, or at least more than that. So here's the old guy that we hired that we had working for us last year. One, I hate smoking. He was also a referral. Find out he's a smoker, and we were desperate at that point. Kept him on. One day his phone's dead, or disconnected, or whatever. He needs a phone so he can go to do the job. So I've got like these kind of throwaway phones from Comcast or Xfinity Mobile. I was just kind of playing around with them. They're like $10-15 a month. Give him the phone. And this guy wasn't the greatest employee in really any regards whatsoever. And I find out like a month or two later, I was like, man, my internet search history is kind of looking weird. Like the predictive things that I might search on Google are kind of weird. And I asked this other guy, Mike, who's working for me, I was like, hey man, do you know where the blue phone is? And he's like, oh, the one that you gave Wally. Yeah, he's had that on them ever since. Dude had taken the phone that I gave him as a company phone for a day or two that I thought was just sitting in a truck. I didn't need it. Took it home and was absolutely using that phone to look at porn. And you gotta love that with Chrome and devices, it tags exactly where you're looking at it, what you're looking at, when you're looking at it.
Where's that delete button at?
Yeah.
History.
I almost felt like I needed, and this is, pre-COVID. This is like, I guess it was like 2 years ago or whatever. I felt like the thing needed to be literally like dunked in sanitizer because of how many it was, dude. It was literally 28 times, 28 different sessions. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, and this, like,
Wally was at work.
No. Wally was at his house. So fortunately we're good on that. And like, that's one of those things, like growing a business and you're like, man, I guess I do have to have that cell phone policy. Like if you're using a company phone, don't look at porn or do illegal stuff on it. Like
you would think, don't do stuff that goes without saying.
Hey, if the boss gives you a phone for the day to get to the jobs, like, and nobody else has company phones, mind you, nobody else has one. I gave it to you so you could get to the job. I'm not going to be providing you with a cell phone for your personal use after hours. Like, this is to get to and from jobs. And that guy, doesn't matter.
Hey, what's up, business nerd? Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you learned a heck of a lot watching that episode. Do me a favor, subscribe right down here. And if you really like what you saw, you got more goods right here. Check out this one or check out this one and do this. Go subscribe. Appreciate you. Work smarter, work harder, go earn yourself some pride. Catch you on the next one.